Hello, my name is Maya and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, let's talk about all things stories, creativity, and empowerment, and quite often those things all interconnect. Today we're going to be doing a really fun video that has to do a bit about stories, also some creativity in there as well. We're going to be looking at a thrift store find. Actually, it was a garage sale find, but before we get more into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. It really does help me out. And also check the description box below for all the links, resources, my books, all the good stuff down there. So if you have any questions throughout this video, it will be probably linked down in the description box, so don't forget to check. With that said, let's jump into today's video. So the other day I went to a garage sale. It was a community garage sale and I found some really good things, and I'm saying the extra really there because one of the things I think might be either my all-time or way up there with my all-time best find in terms of thrifting and garage sales. That'll be a separate video, it's coming soon, but the thing I have in my hand here that I will show you in a moment is also very cool, and I thought it could be fun because it goes with many aspects of my channel. It goes with creativity, empowerment, not really. Okay, so it goes with more creativity and stories. Not only the story of how I found this at the garage sale, but also because of what's inside. So without further ado, what I found is this. I know it doesn't look like much, but if you look at it a bit more closely, I think that the pattern is just gorgeous. Has that very vintage feel. I'm not sure how old it is. Based on the contents, maybe like the 80s or late 70s. But either way, the reason I picked it up originally was because I'm like, this is really cool looking. I can do an art project with it. I don't have any videos on my channel yet of art projects, but those are coming and I love being creative. So I had a few ideas about what I could do with this. But then when I opened it up, I'm like, this is almost better, because I thought I could share that with you and that it would be a really fun kind of story to explore. So this person used this photograph album as a teenage heartthrob journal. What is that? Basically, this person was obsessed with Bon Jovi and Kirk Cameron back in the 80s, and she basically took stuff from a bunch of magazines and put it in this album as her, like, I'm obsessed. This is like my teenage heartthrob celebrity thing. Now, I'm going to go through this with you because not only are the pictures kind of funny, but some of the articles and the kind of wording they use is also very interesting. Not only as like from a writer perspective, as I'm a writer and I kind of find how people use words and language really interesting, but it's also really interesting in a history standpoint. I know the 80s weren't that long ago, but it's interesting to see how much things have changed from back then and how it can tell us a bit more about our history, where we are now compared to then. A bunch of different stories we can explore throughout this teenage heartthrob journal. I'm convinced we can find some things, so we're gonna go quickly into a different angle and I'm gonna show you more about it. But before we do, I want to say something about the subjects of this journal. Bon Jovi, I know who Bon Jovi is. You say Bon Jovi, I'm like, okay, yeah, I know who it is. I don't know much about his history, what he's done or anything, but I know his music. I know who he is if you say the name. Kirk Cameron, the name sounded kind of familiar, but honestly, I wasn't quite sure who this person was. I asked my parents and they're like, oh yeah, we know who this guy is. So I decided to do a bit of research before I started this video. Now, here's what I found. I found that my personal views do not align with Kirk Cameron pretty much at all. From what I've seen, he said some kind of homophobic things, some a bit sexist things and other stuff. I don't want to get into all of that right now because this video is supposed to be kind of like a positive video looking at somebody's teenage heartthrob journal and kind of having fun and looking at like the 80s slang and stuff. So I'm not going to get too much into that, but I didn't want to preface that I don't support the things that this person, Kirk Cameron, is saying right now. If you want to make up your own mind, one of the sources that I found is down below. It's a video that kind of says like the history of the show he was in, which I already forgot the name. I'm going to put it here. So it tells the history of this show that he was in, and also kind of where he is now. Some of the things he's saying, like the homophobic and sexist things, are not so great in my opinion. So if you want to know more about that, go down below. I just want to preface that before I start this video. But as I said again, this is going to be kind of really a fun video looking at a teenager from the 80s thoughts on collaging her favorite heartthrob in this album. So I'm excited to dive into it. Hopefully you are too. And without further ado, let's go into it. Alright, so here's the angle for now. I'm gonna have to get a better setup, but here it is for now. As you can see, we have this beautiful cover, and now let's flip for the first page. Now here is the first page. You can see it's a Kirk Cameron extravaganza. Find it kind of funny how she added it there, very appropriate for what's in this journal. And this is a bunch of cutouts that this person didn't put in. Now before I start, I do want to say that I met the person who made this journal, and she kind of just laughed about it and was like, oh yeah, being a teenager, funny. She was happy for me to have it and to look through her previous obsessions. So we'll start here. As you can see, a bunch of beautiful pictures of this guy. I find sometimes like these teen magazines have like really funny wording. Let's see here if we can read anything. Always happy to flash those pearly whites and steal your heart away. That's that one. Kirk jokes around with a disassembled co-star from his new movie. Do you suppose he's saying, have a heart? I just find that, you know, it's also fun to see what this person chose to keep. So that's that first page. Like I said, she really liked this guy. This first one here, this one says, he joined his TV mom, Joanna Kearns, at a celebrity tennis match in Santa Monica, California. How did Kirk do? He aced the audience with his love game, of course. A lot of puns, but I'm not mad. I like puns. Some more pictures, more pictures. I'm going to kind of try to focus on the writing in the article since there is so many pictures. So let's see here. This is another picture with his TV mom. Let's see here. What is this one? It says, Kirk says, say no to drugs, but if not, to a pick for a fan. And that was submitted by somebody who was called Teresa Dannett from Illinois. So she says, I am a 15-year-old fan of Kirk Cameron's, and on May 9, 1987, which is what makes me think this is kind of from the 80s, also based on Kirk Cameron and when he was popular and had his big show, my dreams came true. I was at the Say No to Drugs parade in Chicago, and I was standing on my friend's shoulder so I could take a pictures of Kirk. When he looked over at me, I asked him if I could take a picture. He said, with me? ? And I said, yes, please. And he told me to hold on. The next thing I knew, I was in his limo taking pictures with Kirk's arms around me. I felt like I could have died. Okay, wait. He took a fan into his limo? Okay. I mean, that's nice, but, like, that seems a bit over the top. I don't know. Like, today, you would never see a celebrity today see a fan in the street, like, taking pictures and be like, come in my limo, unless it was kind of, like, for nefarious purposes. I mean, maybe I'm just kind of, yeah, I feel like that wouldn't happen as much today. I'm hoping that it was just kind of a kind thing, maybe it was more acceptable back then, but you wouldn't really, I think, see that as much today. So let's see. He was just so sweet and to take those pictures, but with all the girls yelling, I love you, Kirk, I didn't get to ask him for his autograph. So you were in a limo with him taking pictures, but you didn't get his autograph? I don't know. This seems odd for me, but I'm happy she's happy. Kirk, keep up the great work. We all love you, and I can say proudly I would never do drugs, since you took the time to say no to them. Well, that's a positive. That's a positive. Drugs are bad. I'm happy that he was advocating for that good cause. All right. So this is basically like everything about this guy. So apparently he's a good actor. He's a good student. He plays it down. But Kirk has been tagged a gifted student by the state of California, and his grades bear that out. They're mostly A's. Kirk's best subjects are math and science. He plans on going to college after graduation next year. Good for him. What else would they say? They talk about his family, his good cause, the no drug thing that we saw before. Let's see. Yeah, no cigarettes. Interesting. And this page, okay, this is interesting. Maybe it was like a contest. Psst, want to go away with Kirk Cameron? Sure you do, ... And all you have to do is close your eyes and dream real hard about actually meeting Kirk at his favorite vacation land, the beach. Interesting. Would you love to be the lucky girl Kirk gives his heart to? Yeah, so it's kind of a lot about, like, love and, like, swooning and romance, which makes sense. It's like a heart throb journal. But I don't know, like I haven't read a teen magazine in a while, but I wonder if they still use this kind of very like lovey-dovey, you know, kind of language about celebrities. Probably, but I don't know, it's interesting. So then you talk about Kirk saying he's shy and nervous when he meets girls, but he's had the chance to meet more girls. Okay, that's nice. Okay. This is kind of funny in here. You know that he'd be the kind of guy who'd give you his heart, tell you his secrets, and really, really mean it. A lot of italics, emphasization here. It's kind of a funny page. Alright, so this is the second page. I'm excited to get to this page because there's a celebrity I actually really like here, so we'll see that in a second. In this page, you talk about more about what he likes. He's going to college, apparently. This is kind of funny. Kirk gives his all to his work and his career, which, by the way, includes over 6,000 fan letters a week, and the designation of Hot Team Dream by the Rolling Stones magazine. Growing Pains, which is the name of the show that he was in, is doing well, but success for me, that's what he says, is personally means knowing that I've done a good job in something. I'm happy if everything is going great, and I'm finding this to be true right now. So I guess I think I'm successful. I just act. It's just that it's hard for me to watch myself act because I always feel like I could do better. Yeah. I mean, I can relate to like being hard on yourself, so yeah, that element I can relate to. Oh, this picture. The classic like puffer jacket, like with that cut. Classic 80s right there, 100%. Alright, now this one I was kind of excited about because it has this guy. This guy is Sean Astin, and he was in Lord of the Rings, he was in Goonies, both movies that I love, so I'm happy to see him in here. And so let's see what their interview is with him. So, they're a dynamic duo in the hilarious pic, which I'm assuming means picture, which I'm assuming means movie, which is kind of something you would see more in movie, I think, in today's day. Kind of like a small language thing, but interesting. Like Father, Like Son. Also don't know what this movie is, but I will look into it. This is about how these two guys got along on the set. So, let's see. They didn't really get to know each other until they started working together, but they did know of one another. So they met at a party once and introduced themselves. That was about it. Sean recalls how everyone reacted when he told them he might be working with Kirk. When I told my friends I was up for a movie that starred Kirk, everyone said what a nice guy he is and all that stuff. Once he got to know Kirk personally, Sean found out for himself that what everyone said was true. He thought he was very sweet and sensitive with people. Sean admits he was nervous about around his co-star, as well as his older co-star, Dudley Moore, which, again, I'm blanking on who that is, but I will try to look it up. So, yeah, and he became friends with him, apparently. I don't necessarily know if they're friends now, but in that time they were. So, it's just kind of some basic information, nothing too kind of juicy, except apparently Kirk can't sing, but these guys sure can act. Alright, that was interesting. Kind of funny to see, like, this guy, Sean Astin, like, look so young, because I'm so used to, like, his, like, Lord of the Rings work. So, he was born in 1970, just more pictures, again, loving that 80s style. In this page, the author of this Heartfrog mag did some excellent cutting, decoupage, almost. I approve. Even when he's partying, Kirk watches what he eats. He's very serious about his health. Whatever he does, it sure works. That's funny. Okay, so then he's posing with his mom, Candace. So I guess this is a girl from Full House who's also been part of some controversy lately. But I used to love... Full House I did watch and I really enjoyed. So that's interesting to know that they are related. I did not know that. Okay, more... Okay, this is kind of fun. Like, it has his, like, entire stats. His motto is apparently, once you turn 20, you can't be 16 again. That's his motto. That's kind of interesting. They give everything from, like, his weight. Like, I don't think we really would see weight in today's age. So that's kind of an interesting difference. His hair, his eyes, his height, his birthplace. Like, that's, like, a lot of information. But it's interesting. Nickname is Kirkles. Okay. His fave pet is a tarantula and 5 snakes, including a 10-foot python named Dudley. Wow. That's a lot. He loves... His favorite food is Pritkin diet, no sugar or dairy products. That I'm not a huge fan of, like promoting diets at this young age with like all these girls reading this magazine, but again, it's the 80s. I think that's something, excuse the noise in the background, that's my dog, but I think this is something as well you might not see today. Favorite car is a white Honda Prelude, okay. He loves Genesis, Phil Collins, Prince, and Bruce Springsteen. Those are all solid choices. Music I approve of. But yeah, that's interesting to see kind of what they would say in that time. I think all of these stats would not be here today. And for fave foods, I'm not sure if they would really allow people to do diets because of so many eating disorders these days, but who knows? It's interesting to see what they would have included in a magazine in that time about a celebrity. So let's go. This one, I'm not sure, it's like a movie. The Athletic Kirk frowns on smokers. I'm wondering if maybe that's a movie that I don't know about. Honestly, I'm not like, I know a lot of 80s stuff, but apparently I don't know much about Kirk Cameron and certain movies. This is more pictures of him. Again, this kind of movie that I also didn't see. Feeling like a bit like, oh, I didn't see any of this. More pictures here. Originally I thought this was an actual signature, but I think it's just like a printed signature from a magazine from what I can tell. Even more pictures. This is, I guess, his 10-foot python, I would assume. This picture kind of freaks me out, but I don't know. Maybe it was seen as cool back then, but to me, it's kind of freaky. And that's it. Alright, so now we're going to go to the next part, and these are all things that she didn't end up sticking or gluing or organizing, so I'm assuming maybe she was first really liking Kirk Cameron and then she moved to Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi is somebody I do know, which, you know, now I can finally say that I know somebody or something from this journal and not feel so clueless. This first photo I find is really interesting. If there wasn't this part here that said he was the Teen Beat Hunk of the Month, I don't think I would have really known who he is. I'm just used to seeing him older. But this is really kind of fun. Very 80s style. Love the hair. So that's the first thing we have here. On the back we have the random thing with a bunch of letters, which honestly, I'm really interested in like snail mail and pen pal, so I kind of want to know what this article was about, but I don't. And then we have another page here. This one's also like a cool magazine. Apparently Bon Jovi is a sweet, shy, and sensitive young man. And I'm going to put it here so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Those wouldn't be what I would call Bon Jovi. Like I wouldn't really call him sweet, young, and sensitive based on the image I've seen of him in the media, but very interesting that that's kind of how he was trying to promote himself. One thing I love here, which also is making me think that maybe she liked Bon Jovi first, because, I don't know, I'm going to have to look in the timeline and see which came first in popularity, Bon Jovi or Kirk Cameron, and I'll put it here on the screen to let you know. But in the corner here, we said there is Attention Monkey Maniacs, and there's the Monkees photo album. I also know who the Monkees are. See, now I'm getting in my zone now, I know these people. And I find it really fun that they have like a Monkees thing with a Bon Jovi thing. And you see there's childhood photos, Monkees memorabilia, in concert, portraits, candids, and much, much more. Send your name and address, so if you're checking money, order for $10.95 to the P.O. Box. That's something we also don't see as much these days. Like before, everything was done by mail. Like internet wasn't as big of a thing. And it's kind of hard to think today that, you know, 20 plus years ago, internet really wasn't that big of a thing. Like a lot of things were still done by mail. Like you would send in a check to get something by the mail, and that was the standard. So it's kind of fun to see that as well. I wonder what would happen if I sent, and excuse for that background noise if you hear some, it's my dog Zoe. It's daytime, so she's gonna be walking around, but just giving you a preface what that background noise is. But as I was saying, I wonder what would happen if you sent $10.95 today to this P.O. Box. What would happen? That's kind of fun. Also, $10.95. We wouldn't see those prices today. Today, a new book is like 30 bucks. It's crazy. On the other side, we have Straight Talk from Michael J. Fox. That's actually kind of fun too. Back to the Future is what I'm thinking is the vibes here. That's really fun. Alright, so let's move to the next one. One-on-one with the Bond Man. Is that what they called Bon Jovi? That's kind of fun. It makes me think of James Bond. The Bond Man. James Bond. But obviously it was for Bon Jovi. So we have some questions here. So the fans make it all worthwhile. John, I just tell them, hey, I'm just like you. Rock and roll is everything to me. It's a lot of fun and I try very hard to bridge the gap when it comes to our fans. What would you say your music has done? As a band, what would you say Bon Jovi has contributed to rock? We've added some good songs, but I think the strong point is we add a smile. We don't go out there with this aggressive stuff. The attitude is, if I can see someone smile, that's it. I love that. I love that. I'm a big believer in kindness and that a smile goes a long way, so I love that line. Amazing. Has the success changed Bon Jovi to band? We are very much the same guys as in 1988. We are very much, I hope and believe, the same 5 guys from New Jersey. They're proud to be from New Jersey. So yeah, very interesting. It's kind of fun to see kind of the questions they would ask and stuff. And again, outfit, 10 out of 10. Another Michael Fox article here. Then we have, what's Bon Jovi? Why, John Bon Jovi, of course. I was really confused by the headline, but that's kind of fun. Talking about him wearing many hats. Again, love the look. And, oh, this is fun. This is a Johnny Depp article for the 16's Incredible Hunk. So he was on 21 Jump Streets, Tommy Hansen. Johnny Depp most recently appeared as Lerner in the Academy Award-winning movie Platoon. He had his first big break in 1983 when he landed the role of Glenn in Nightmare on Elm Street. In fact, Johnny tried out for the part on the advice of his friend Nicolas Cage. Oh my god, that's awesome. Who was in Valley Girls in Raising Arizona. Now, 23, Johnny was born in Owensboro, Kentucky in 1964. When he was 6, his family moved to Miramar, Florida. They now live in Hallandale, Florida, where Johnny's father works as Director of Public Works. This is kind of fun. Johnny's #1 love is music. He plays the guitar and leads a Los Angeles rock band. And Johnny still plays music. So this is actually really fun to see. That's a really cool picture as well. I wasn't expecting to find Johnny Depp in here. Then, this is another take a vacation together thing. I'm pretty sure we saw a similar thing with Kirk Cameron. So it's kind of maybe like a contest or something. But, this is really cute. You want to know the absolute truth? John feels that each and every one of you is special. Isn't that awesome? It's really fun. And again, this is the whole crew. All of the amazing hair. Amazing. On the back, we have the Fun in the Sun section with Jack Wagner. So that's interesting. And another contest that you can sign in for Jack Wagner. I don't know who Jack Wagner is. I'm sorry, I was doing so good and now I'm back to not knowing. More about who the real Bon Jovi John is, and his first runaway success was a demo tape he made of the song Runaway. It made it to the radio station WAPP, and John's music was played for the first time. John and David found the bassist, Alec John Such, when he was playing with a band called Phantoms Opera, and through Alec they met drummer Tico Torres. Guitarist Richie Sambora was the 5th and final addition to what everybody today knows as the Bon Jovi Band. After playing in such unlikely places as bowling alleys, the boys got to tour with the likes of Eddie Money and ZZ Top. That's kind of fun. Kind of like the history of the band. That's also really neat. And then more about his life story. That's a fun picture. I like it's kind of like a bit of history, you know. If you look up online, you wouldn't really necessarily be able to find these articles. Teen Beat Times from 1987, volume 10, number 8. Cruising in a car, you got Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise had a close call recently, and we're not referring to any last-minute wedding bell jitters. While driving in the Briar Motorsport race in Luton, New Hampshire, Tom's car caught on fire. What? And he was forced out of the 48-mile auto race. He escaped uninjured from the car, which had a sign in its back window that read, "Just Married." Cruise's new bride, Mimi Rogers, was in attendance, but his surrogate dad and the man who introduced him to racing, Paul Newman, did not attend. This was probably the last race Tom will be in for quite some time. His new movie, Rain Man, will begin filming this month. Just Married, Tom and Mimi. Emilio and Demi's Belle Blues. Emilio Estevez on a date with Susanna Hoffs. Very interesting to kind of see what it was. And of course, Bon Jovi. And he's about to cut his hair. That's the headline, guys. Cutting his hair. But it is an iconic look, so I kind of get it. Let's see. It says that he'll probably trim his locks during his 2-week stay in New York in August. He'll be there to play in Madison Square Garden and the Nassau Coliseum and the Meadowlands. Before he gets on stage, he'll probably stop by his parents in New Jersey home to have his dad, a hairdresser, trim his locks. I didn't know his dad was a hairdresser. Cool. Why cut the hair that's helped sell over 7 million records? It's looking like a mop, says John, who'd look cute even if he had a crew cut. Oh my god, this is so funny. In other words, in other Bon Jovi news, the guitar of John Ritchie Sambora and David Bryan are now part of the Hard Rock Cafe's Guitar Wall of Fame. I'm wondering which Hard Rock Cafe that is, or if there was only one at that time. That's also interesting. And did we look at this piece? This is the cover of the Teen Beat Times, and it's hot off the press. So we see Aha in the Living Daylights. We have Menundo's Now 10. The tour schedule for this guy, which is also kind of fun that they posted that. And Ralph's The Marrying Kind. Tom Cruise wasn't the only brat packer to walk down the aisle last May. Ralph Macchino said I do to his longtime gal Phyllis Fierro in a private ceremony held on Long Island. Ralph and Phyllis were later spotted by intrepid, Teen Beat reader Paula Kinsell, who caught up with the couple while they were honeymooning in gorgeous Kauai, Hawaii. Hawaii. Paul wrote to tell us that though he's now a married man, Ralph is still charming. You haven't met him yet, wrote Paula, and you're waiting. He is well worth the wait. If you haven't met him yet. So, I don't know who these people are either, unfortunately, but that's very interesting. Another amazing outfit, 80s to the max. John, Be My Special Girl. Fun in the Sun section. There's more things about John and stuff. I'm not going to go through every single thing in this video. On the back here we have Super Teen. And it just, I guess, oh, it says what's going to be in the issue, which is kind of fun. There's some Kirk Cameron, which makes sense for this thing here. Bon Jovi, Elisa Milano. A lot of kind of fun things. Your all new Love Diary Super Teen stats. Fun in the Sun by different people. The cuddliest color pinups ever. That's kind of fun too. And I had one of Kirk Cameron and John Bon Jovi. And a bunch of contests. And some scoops. Very fun. So here we have the vote for your... Okay, there's missing a page probably. Okay, here's the deal. You tell us which guy is your absolute numero uno fave. The most major awesome dude of all. You know, the fella you'd want to spend the rest of your life with. Got it? Well, just fill in the ballot. Mail it by November 3rd, 1987, and you could be one of the 10 winners picked at random who will receive prizes like autographed t-shirts, posters, magazines, etc. So send in your ballot now. So we have a bunch of different people that could be your numero uno, as they said. I wonder if she sent in the ballot. More Bon Jovi, nice green kind of pattern here. Again, not going to do it all because it's going to be a very long video. Oh, cool. We have a Whitney Houston right here. We have some talk of the Beasties. And note the Volkswagen emblem on tour. I don't know why that was important, but maybe somebody in the comments can let me know. John Bon Jovi taking a bow. Phil Collins receiving his honorary degree. And wow, it's kind of really cool to see all these people younger. And the best with the zest. So again, you can fill out a ballot here to get it submitted to get more magazines, which is also really fun. Alright, moving on. We got some little cutouts here. We got a little cutout here of Mr. Bon Jovi. And oh wow, it's like a playing card almost. So you turn it around. And it says John. Real name, John Bon Jovi. Stage name, John Bon Jovi. Birthplace, March 6, 1962. Birthplace was New Jersey. Eye color blue. Hair color light brown. Height 5'10". Very interesting that you have like a little playing card here. I wonder what the other playing cards were, or if there were others. Another picture of the band. And random information on the back here. It seems that maybe it's actually to order records, which is really fun. So you could join the tape club and buy tapes. That's actually really cool. I love a good tape. On this one here we have, who is this? Okay, I'm not sure who this is. I don't think it is Kirk or John Bon Jovi, but maybe we're getting into somebody else this person loved. We have More of this person. This is Poison, I guess, is the band. And more kind of fun things at the back there. We have Def Leppard, Steve Clark, Joe Elliott, Phil Collins, and Richard Allen and Rick Savage. That's actually really cool too. And more of the bands on this side. Then we have another like kind of playing card, I'm guessing. Yes, same information on the back there. We have another picture. Are you madly in love with Wonderful Will? That's that picture here. We have another one here, and who is this? I don't know who this is. If you know, let me know down below. And on the other side, we have a band, which I'm also having trouble identifying, but I'm sure somebody's going to know and they're going to be like, you're young, aren't you? Because I'm not sure what these 80s people, 80s stars are. Then we have more pictures here. That's kind of a cool kind of touring shot. Again, with the amazing outfits. John keeps his figure fit by working out regularly at a gym! Exclamation mark. Interesting. Next year I plan to be better, John says. Is it possible? You bet! Exclamation mark. Okay, this is really cool. So 12 hot albums for a penny. 12 hot albums for a penny! Plus a chance to win 2 more free. So I think this is the other page that we had where you could order cassette tapes. You had the Twisted Sisters, you had Wham, Madonna, the Smiths, a lot of the Pretenders. Oh my goodness, amazing bands. The Cars' greatest hits. Oh, there's a lot of amazing ones here. But 12 for a penny. I wonder if it actually was a penny. Because it says here 12 for a penny plus shipping and handling. Prices sure have changed. And that's it for those ones. So 1 second and we'll turn the camera over. Alright, so if you've noticed, I changed my outfit. I had to film this video in 2 parts. But I am back to give my final thoughts on this beautiful album that I found. So I think it was really interesting to go through and see what kind of like the 80s magazines were like, what a teen in that era would have saved in one of these kind of heartthrob magazines, as I'm calling it. I think that was really fun to look through. As mentioned, some of the people in this album, I don't support some of the things they said, as I mentioned in that first clip. But saying that, I find it's really fun to look at how those celebrities that we know today were back in the 80s and what kind of things that they would say in those magazines. Also, that they would sell tapes for 12 for a penny or something, which is mind-blowing to me in today's economy. 1 CD is like, yeah, everything's expensive these days. So that was really fun too. I was happy to find like Johnny Depp in here, which was really fun, and the guy from Back to the Future and the guy from Lord of the Rings. So a lot of celebrities that popped up that I found really fun to kind of look at. I think my final thoughts on this is that teen magazines, I think, have changed a bit. There's still that like, oh, who's my favorite hunk, and here's a poster for your wall, and oh, don't you swoon over this guy. There's still all of that stuff. But I think it's a bit less aggressive than it was in that time, which it kind of gives me some hope. I don't think there's anything wrong with teen girl or guys looking at these magazines and swooning over their favorite celebrity. I think that's fine. It's fun. It's a good thing to do. But I do like that magazines today don't have certain elements that were in these ones, like the diets, like, you know, degrading yourself to please a guy. I kind of got that vibe from some of these articles, and I'm happy that that's changed a bit. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I feel like a lot of these articles were based solely on kind of romance and girls or boys or whoever's reading the articles being obsessed with a celebrity. And I'm happy that in today's kind of teen magazines, from what I've seen when I read them as a teen, or from when I see them at the drugstore when I'm shopping there, is that there's more kind of intellectual articles in some ways in them, talking about more real world issues, and kind of more interspersed with a preteen or teen can be like obsessed with a celebrity and want to know what they're into and kind of have that kind of funny lingo about swooning over them, but also acknowledge that they're smart human beings and they care about other things too. So I like that improvement. Saying that, I think it was really fun to kind of read these articles, get a glimpse on those celebrities of the past, and I'm really happy I picked this up for like 50 cents. I think it was really cheap. Now what I'm going to do with it, if you were curious, I might do an art project. If I do, I might also film it for this channel, but I might keep the clippings in this book maybe for a future project. I'm not sure yet. But either way, I'm glad I got to preserve this little part of history, whether it's insignificant or not. It is a story. All stories are valuable. I'm happy I got to preserve the story of this album, of the person who made this album, and the stories of the articles inside in some way throughout this video. So hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help me out. A lot more fun videos coming your way, from books I'm reading, reading vlogs, writing, all the way to other stories that you can find in unique and interesting places. I'm a strong believer that there are stories in everything around us, from artwork, like my beautiful tapestry behind me, to music and songs. There's stories in every little thing around us if we only look closer and see the story behind it. And without further ado, I will leave you guys. Don't forget to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and make the most of your story. Bye!